You're listening to Washington Watch, and I'm Tony Perkins, your host. So good to have you with us. The website is tonyperkins.com. This coming June will mark the 50th anniversary of the Title IX of Education Amendments of 1972 that is best known for how it increased female participation in sports by giving female athletes the right to equal opportunity in sports and educational institutions that receive federal funds. Well, ahead of that anniversary, the Biden administration is expected to propose rules to rewrite its regulations implementing Title IX in a way that would, among other things, unquestionably damage athletic opportunities for women in schools, colleges, and universities, and wreak havoc on Title IX's requirements to establish and maintain a level playing field for women in athletics. Here to talk about this is the former Secretary of Education under Donald Trump, Betsy DeVos, who served, as I mentioned, in the Trump administration. Secretary DeVos, welcome back to the program.
Thanks, Tony. It's great to be with you.
You swam competitively as an athlete. We're seeing this issue debated across the nation now with what's been happening at Penn State. And the American public, they see this as patently unfair. This is not something that should be happening, but yet the policy seems to be moving forward by this administration that would destroy women's sports. Tell our viewers about that.
Well, Tony, as we understand it, the proposed rule that the Biden administration is advancing would expand the definition of sex, which we all have understood to mean biological sex since Title IX was passed in 1972 while I was swimming competitively as a high school swimmer. But it will expand that definition and would essentially serve to ruin and kill women's sports, because it would allow biological males to participate in women's sports, basically unfettered, untethered. And I mean, we all, I was not that great of a swimmer. I was a good swimmer, but I wasn't a great swimmer. If I had to compete against biological males as well, I can't even imagine. I probably wouldn't have swum. And I don't know that a lot of other young women who would have that to face in the future would really put in the time and the energy and the work to do the things that they need to do to be competitive, if they know that they're going to, potentially be facing men in the swim lanes or in the competition against them. And so this is a real frontal attack on the equality of opportunity that Title IX sought to bring to all women across America. And it's the second time, frankly, that this administration and the predecessor in the Obama administration have really, they've tried to weaponize Title IX in ways that have been so ill-served, so poorly serving the young people that they're supposed to be actually helping to give opportunity to.
So, Secretary DeVos, is this the end of women's sports if these changes go forward?
Well, if the changes go forward as they have proposed, or as that we understand they are proposing, it would effectively kill women's sports, because you cannot say on the one hand that all young women should have equal opportunity to participate in sports, and then on the other hand say individual who is a biological male can decide to compete as a woman and do so. Those two, that Venn diagram doesn't intersect.
Right.
It really would impact all women in a negative way in the long term. And it's an area that we have to, I think, really raise voices about to make sure that everyone knows what this administration is proposing to do and really fight it.
You wrote a piece about this, and you point out the fact that there are biological differences between men and women. Men have
Absolutely.
greater capability and capacity to swim. That's why we go back 50 years and we allowed women to have their own competitive sports so that they could have an even playing field. And men over here, I mean, what's happened to these people who say they follow the science?
Well, the party that claims to follow the science, it seems that the only science they really want to follow in this case and in others, we saw with so many of the COVID mandates and lockdowns and what have you. And now they're claiming to want to be following the science as well. But it appears the only science that they really are following is the political science and really playing to the far left fringe of their party in a way that is going to be wholly detrimental to young women nationwide.
So true. That's about the only science that they know is the political science. And they're not even that good at that because the American people are not with them on this one. Secretary DeVos, always great to talk with you. Thanks so much for speaking out on this. I think it's an important issue.
Well, thanks, Tony. Great to see you and great. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.